Okay, so my topic was California, the first one. All I'm going to say is, as I said before, California has been damn near, we've been gentrified out here in California as when it comes to black people, especially black foundational Americans. It's gentrified. The videos that I have made in the past about how it is the mixed breed capital. Well, guess what? The black women have shown us that they didn't want us, and then what they then continue to do is mix out in California, and then you had the little spurred of supposed black females from other states that came out here. And I said back then is that any black female that goes to California and is not born from there is going there to swirl, meaning they're going there to get with some non-black person. And by all means, now that I've came back, since I mentioned this way some long time ago, roughly in 2012 or something like that. I don't know if I made a video of this, but this wasn't on this channel. But I said that give it 5 years time and most of the black people out here in California are not going to be black. And just by coming back out here and seeing this shit, yes, all you got is a bunch of swirlers, mixed breeds. Like I said back then, I said there's going to be a bunch of Miles Moraleses. If y'all don't know who that is, it's a Spider-Man character that they said, hey, we want a black Spider-Man. But instead of just making him black, they turned him into a black and Mexican Spider-Man. Well, guess what? There's a lot of black and Mexican out in Cali, and Asian and black and all these other little mixtures. There's a lot of 10% breeds and quarter breeds. I know I had somebody ask me, what's a quarter breed? Quarter breeds, how I put it, is you have the half breed, which is a black person who's just black, doesn't have any mixtures in the bloodline, mates with a white person or something that is not black. That could be white, Asian, Middle Eastern, Pacific Islander, what have you. They mate with somebody outside. That's a half-breed. Then that half-breed, their offspring grows up and then decides that they don't want to mate back into black, so they mate out again. Thus, you're lessening the genetics, the black genetics within that person, because you're mixing it out. So the next non-black genes are coming and pushing out the next black genes. Thus, you get the 25%, which I go, it's from 50 to 25, and then 25 to 10. And then from there, you got the 25% breed. And you can, then from there, it goes to the light brights. And these are the 10% breeds, where majority of them, some of them still have that because they had a black parent that had some strong features, some strong black genetics. And so some of those, the last remaining black genes that are still fighting, show through that 10% breed. So they have black phenotypes, but their skin is now like white or close to white. And so you'll get that. As for then you got the ones that didn't have as strong genetics. Let's say the 25% breed starts to mate or whatnot. Then you'll have that mates out. You'll have less, man, the sun's getting out there. You'll have less black phenotypes on that individual. Now, by all means, some people lie. because now we got the cosmetics and plastic surgeries where individuals can damn near put lip injections and butt feelers and then go around and say, hey, I'm part black, or I got some black genetics, which is a lie. You just find out who their family members are. But I got videos on that too if you want to know how to tell. But as for that, is once you go out in California, literally it's just a bunch of mixed breeds, and the black females who might be out there, which is a small amount, said hi, hello, 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 howdy. Oh, XP farming time. Okay, I just heard someone talk about black people, and I'm black. Romaine, I don't know who you are, but okay, I'm talking about black people because I'm a foundational black American. I'm not just a part of the I'm a part of the diaspora, but I'm not African American. I'm black foundational American. But anyway, so you'll have a bunch of mixed breeds out there nowadays, and it was funny because then, and if you're not from Cali and you want to see, just to see if I'm talking about it true, and you don't want to travel to Cali, then the best thing is to go on dating apps and look for individuals. Go on Hinge, and you'll put your little location in California, and you'll see there's constant mixed breeds, even some 10% breeds who claim black, and you're like, where? They don't even look nothing at all black, but they claim it. And then for the black females that are left there that are actually black, which is a very few, those motherfuckers don't even want to get with black men either, so they mixing out. I watched Tariq Nasheed way back in the past, where I seen various black females go on there and say, hey, there's no black men out here in California, or hey, there's no black men wanting us in California. By far, that was a lie. A lot of black men were seeking black women in those times, back in the early 2000s to 2010 to roughly the 2015. But black females had kept pushing us away, calling us this, that, and the third, throwing us under the bus, saying all this other stuff, saying how they wanted to. If y'all don't recall this, they used to say, I want a child with that good hair," meaning they wanted straight hair. So how do you get straight hair? You get with somebody who's non-black. So they wanted children like that. They wanted the lighter or brighter, the exotic. And so they kept pushing us away. And now all of a sudden it's like they're mixed offsprings, or the few of them who may come out here and lie and say they want black people. Now this is where I gotta out some of the foundational black females who are in Cali, saying that some of y'all lied and bullshit and BS. Now, for the ones of y'all who actually got a black husband, then okay, you didn't. But this is for the ones who out there lying and saying that's what you were looking for. By all means, they weren't looking for that. They were looking for everything else. And now that everything out there in California when it comes to black is mixed, now it's funny because then I go on, I went on some other little dating out because I'm basically headed back out there, and I already see the dynamic is starting to change from the south to how it is out there. But uh, as I go on to various other dating apps, now you're seeing some of the offspring. I'm not gonna say a huge sector of the offspring. I'm saying some of the offsprings who are now already got the tainted bloodline. They're either no longer black, and they're half black or even less than that. And of course, the foundational bloodline is now skewed, uh, if they have it. And that's a whole another topic where I go into foundational bloodline, and when it starts to have the mixtures where you're either a half, and then beyond that, I have a video saying how with my views on it. and I tie it in with mixed breeds and foundational and how that all works, how I view it. But out there, what you'll have is damn near the offsprings of the mixed breeds now. Some of them, I'm not saying all, some of them now wanting to get back with black. And for the ones of us who actually care about our foundational bloodline, the connection, the heritage, the whatnot, uh, we won't want to. Some of us, I ain't gonna say all, don't want to basically taint our bloodline, thus breaking that connection for our offspring or breaking that connection further down the line, because by all means that connection weakens. I once again, like my last live that I had, I related to like Dragon Ball Z. Goku and Vegeta, they kept mating with the humans, and when they were mating with humans, thus the bloodline started to, the power ups started to diminish. So then their half breeds couldn't go all the way to God mode or Super Saiyan 4. They can only go up to Super Saiyan 2 and adjust a little bit extra above it. But that's it. But anyway, when it comes to California, you got tons of just mixed breeds and barely a few black people and the very few foundational black individuals out there who either made it with mixed breeds or got lucky and found another foundational and then got with them. No longer are the days of my dad's time, but of course he wasn't born out in the West, so it was out in the South. So that's all I gotta say for the California part. I'm jumping to the South. Now, as for the South, when you go out there in the South, it's starting to look like California. You starting to see the Mexicans, Asians, Middle Easterns, uh, groups starting to flood in these black states. They're starting to slowly flood in. Their numbers have increased since the time period I was out there, which I originally went out there to see family in 2019. And then over the years, I've been going back and forth every year. And I've been slowly seeing an uptick of all the other groups slightly increase. Back when black people out in the South were like, we ain't got nothing to worry about. We ain't like what, well, we don't got what things are going on out there in Cali. But now I'm seeing that, hey, y'all gonna start, y'all gonna start seeing what we're talking about and what happened. And especially since y'all ain't trying to be together and do all this and whatnot. And then, of course, you don't even support your own things. When I went to the South, the things that I've learned out there is that, one, black people do not support each other's businesses. And then when you do, because when I was out there and I was trying to support a business, I'm going to say their name now, Little Animals, I kept going there every day trying to support and whatnot. But then what happened over the time period, either the proportion size got smaller or the customer service started to lack. And I'm like, I'm still paying the same amount and this and that. And why is it changing? And I'm not, it's like, what? And so I had to test it. I had to go to a non-black restaurant, an Asian restaurant that sold seafoods, and start buying something from them. And when I did that the first time, okay, see the proportion size, whatever the customer service is in. Of course, what I know what Asians do is they'll hire individuals based off of the demographics and the location they're at. So if it's a South location and there's a lot of black people, they'll hire their front desk people who take orders and whatnot. They'll hire them to be predominantly just black. If it's a Mexican location, like if it's in Texas, maybe Jamie Foxx's old place, and they have a seafood spot, what they'll do is hire a bunch of Mexicans to work the front desk. I noticed this when I was out in Texas, specifically Jamie Foxx's home state or home city near Dallas. And then when I was out in the South, uh, when I went there, and what they'll have is black people who work in the front. They won't be paying them very good, and then they'll have a Mexican who possibly is working the back. When it's in Texas, in Jamie Foxx's one place, they'll either have Mexicans working out in the front, and then they'll have their own Asians working in the back. But they usually own the businesses, and they make more money. So basically take that in consideration of what I just said. So in the black area, they're going to pay the Mexicans a slightly more because they're working in the back, and the ones up front are getting slightly less. And then flip side, when it's in a more Mexican area, then they'll pay the Mexican less, and then the Asians who work in the back more because they're Asian, and they're also Asian. But anyway, when I went down to the South and I started investigating who own these little businesses out here, I found out that a lot of Middle Easterns own a lot of shit out there. It's not a lot of black owned areas, even though the population is predominantly more black. There's more bigger blacker population, but a bunch of Middle Easterns own everything. They either own the hotels, they either own restaurants, they either own some of those not big name brand fast food joints, or they'll own a lot. Even New Orleans, if you go down to New Orleans, a lot of stuff is owned by Middle Easterns, and you'll find out that a lot of these individuals are also smashing, I'm gonna say that word so I can post this up on YouTube, smashing the black prostitutes out there because they work in their hotels. And so these black prostitutes are having like half-breed babies who have melanin because they're mating with a Middle Eastern. So then people are assuming that, hey, it's a black, but not actually full black. They're black and Middle Eastern. That's what you had out here in Cali. A bunch of black prostitutes were in these hotels in California, and a bunch of Middle Easterns own those hotels, as well as gas stations and stuff. But they own those hotels, and what they'll do is once they find out that they're a prostitute and they're selling, they see people coming in and out of that hotel, then they'll start to try to get in on it, or they'll do that whole trap thing, or however you call it, where they'll try to say, hey, if you want to stay here at this hotel, you're going to have to give up something. And so thus these Middle Easterns would be fucking or smashing black prostitutes in these hotels for free, raw dogging them. I found out this through to talking to one of these prostitutes before, and she was literally telling me, this is how I sometimes get an extra day for free if I don't got the money. And so over time, you start to see a few of them leave hotels, but they still up in there. And by far in the South, that's happening. What else in the South? As for in the South, you'll notice a lot of Africans. Now, African people are flooding to the South. It's starting to turn into what is like New York. You know, when you go to New York, and back then it used to be a lot of foundational black Americans in New York, but then a lot of Africans, thus then becoming African Americans, start to flood that state and interbreed with everybody, or the black foundational Americans there. And back then, black foundational Americans was like on this Pan-African thing, so they thought nothing of it, or blah blah blah. But now they're doing the same thing in the other states, southern states, Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, all these other states. They're starting to flood in and kind of interbreed or mix in or just go outside the race as typical. But that's what you're starting to see out there. So yes, that was the South used to be the roots of foundational black Americans, but now it's kind of getting tainted in a sense. And a lot of foundational black American women out there, for the ones who are, the ones who aren't, it's hard to tell because you gotta either, if they don't have the obvious big ass forehead or some obvious accents. Like I said, if you want to find out if they're like non-foundational, get them mad and see if they'll start cussing you out in a whole different accent or language, or talk to them, find out backgrounds and all this other stuff. But yeah, it's starting to change out there. How the fuck is bro speaking emojis? Dang, I didn't look at that. Golden one. I ain't caring to look at the emojis. But yeah, so that's what's going on in the South currently. And I've been going there off and on. I was out in kind of Arkansas, Memphis area for over 7 months, and I plan to do a talk on that and my experience with that. And then the last part of this section, we'll talk about my experience dating or trying to date in Louisiana. And I got some little images of somebody I had talked to, or when I was going to the library out there. There was a black female that I saw. I asked her if she was single. She had passed me by, and then she stopped when I asked. She said, yeah, she's single. Then I asked her if she was interested, and she kind of said yes. And then she proceeded to give me her Instagram. And I was like, what's up, Golden One? So she proceeded to give me her Instagram. And so I then communicated with her on Instagram, and I'm going to show you what we said or what went on. Let's see this first part. So this is who I ran into and I talked to. As you can see, I say basically I was the guy you walk past by the library. If interested in talking in person, we can at the library on Southern Hills Park. Don't worry, if not interested, it's cool. And then I can't see because the chat. Hold on, done. See if I scroll the chat down. Can I put the chat off? Show chat. Hide all chat messages. Okay. And so then from that part, she said, hey, yeah, I don't mind that. My schedule was kind of crazy, but we can probably set something up. Some here to meet up. And so I'm like, okay. And then the next thing that I said, let me grab the other. I don't know which one's the order. I think it's this one. Or is it this one? I think it's this one. Hold on. Alright, so the next thing that was said is, okay, well, it's Sunday and the library is open. This is me. When can you talk today? If you have time, find out if a relationship between us can work, or would you like to meet up tomorrow morning? Otherwise, tell me a day when your schedule is clear for some time to chat. I think this is, hold on. Which one was the one? Okay, this is, which one was the meetup? I may be doing these out of order, so bear with me. So the next thing she says is, I don't have a car at the moment. I got some personal things to handle and don't have the money for it at this time. So I'm occupied trying to figure that out until next week. So don't. So today won't work, and I don't know if tomorrow morning will either, as I do work from home and will be on calls. So then me getting that answer, I said, we don't have to spend any money, because at that point I'm like, why are you talking about money? I'm not taking you out on the date. This is just us kind of talking to just kind of, mingle, see what's up, see where we're at. And it's okay if you can't meet today. It's okay if you can't meet today. Well, if you're interested at all in trying to see if we mesh, then just let me know. I have a CDL, so what you currently do is ideal for me, is what I said. What you currently do is ideal. Well, it seems like the things are complicated. It seems like things are complicated on your end, so the ball is in your court. If you choose to proceed, then just let me know. So at this rate, I'm damn near trying to kind of say, she wanted me to plan out things. So I took the initiative, tried to plan out either a day for us to meet. The day that we had ran into it would have been a perfect day. That was a Sunday. Literally we were doing nothing because she was outside. Then I said the next day. But if she couldn't go with one of those days, then by all means, at this point, I planned out, I'm putting it back on your end, because if those days don't work, then now it supposedly has to proceed or go along the align with you to be able to, you know, have this conversation, not this date. It's just a conversation between us. And so she says, who do you drive for? So she's asking me. Yeah, I had to get a new debit card last week, so I'm waiting for them to come in the mail. At this point, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? She told me about a debit card. And I'm like, is this, like, I literally said, money is not a problem. We don't have to spend anything. We're just talking. So what the fuck are you telling me about a debit card? Now, if you go on her profile, once again, this is one of them church girls, those Christian chicks. Chicks in Louisiana, if you're from Cali, by all means, our intelligence levels, I'm gonna leave that, I'm gonna just leave it alone. But anyway, I'm like, why is she talking about a debit card? I didn't even mention anything about money, and I don't care if you don't have money or whatnot. I ain't trying to do all that. By all means, I was seeing that you were walking past the library and going back and forth from there. So by all means, I'm like, hey, we don't even have to spend nothing. We're just talking. And by all means, I mean, it's simple. Just go back to the library. But anyway, what I say is I don't drive for any company. Last company I drove for was Schneider shit. uh I'm basically seeking my incentive. This would best spoken in person. So this would best be spoken in person. There will be a lot of questions and answers on both ends. And once again, money is not required. All I would like to do is talk and see if we mesh. And by all means, if her thing was on safety, we damn near can go to the fucking library. We can go to the public park. We can go to it. Based off what she said, she don't got a car, so damn near the library is damn near ideal. It has cameras. It's in public. A lot of people there. And motherfucker, we're in the library. So we can go to a little room and talk. Just talk. But like I said, women out there are paranoid as fuck, and also it's a lot of, I hate to say it, but I'm not gonna say it on this, but it's a lot of things, and a lot of them is, man. I'll say it. I said it on some other lives, but I'm not gonna say it on this one this time. There will be a lot of questions and answers on both ends. Once again, money is not required. All I would like to do is talk and see if we mesh. And won't be able to continue the messaging, but just give me a day, hopefully within this month, and we can talk. The place I saw you by the place I saw you by was the library. If you want, we can sit and talk. So pretty much I'm trying to say, hey, we can go to this library and talk again. Saw you by was the library. If you want to sit and talk when you have time, we can. Where are you from? Cali, but my parents are and fam are from here. And then this is where it goes off the deep end. She says, you do realize you're not being logical, right? What the fuck am I not being logical about? And what the fuck does logic have to do with this conversation of trying to meet up? So then she says, you don't want to text or converse here, but you want me to meet you to talk. Motherfucker, I don't want all my discussions on social media, on a damn near dating site. Yeah, we can talk about some surface level things, but was she trying to talk about some surface level things? No. At this point, all I'm saying is because we actually seen each other in person, this is not me just randomly messaging a girl on Instagram and then saying, hey, let's talk, blah, blah, blah. This is me running into that person in person and then saying, hey, it's a Sunday. Nothing is really going on Sundays, especially in the southern states. They kind of have the religious things where a lot of things are not really open or as operational as it would be. And here you are, I'm seeing you outside working out and going to this store to buy whatever you bought and leaving, and thus I'm catching you on the leaving part, and I'm trying to talk to you, and thus since I only could get your Instagram, I proceed to in the Instagram say, hey, you can meet me back here since you don't have a car, and I seen you walk past the library, so obviously this is in a distance in which you can get to. Let's talk at the library. Why do you want to talk damn near online on a social media site, talking about various personal things that I'm pretty sure you didn't want to talk about? Because the fact that she in the beginning said, hey, I'm going through some money problems and some personal problems, obviously you didn't want to discuss that out in the open to me on social media. So what's logic? What's wrong with that? There's no logic with that. That's just me trying to have a conversation with you in person. And then she said, you don't want to text or converse here, but you want me to meet you to talk and know nothing about you prior to. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about, but I'm assuming that because she doesn't know me, she doesn't want to meet and talk. Motherfucker, we passed each other in person. We didn't know each other, but you talked to me. Motherfucker, you talk to people that you go to work with. You talk to random motherfuckers probably at your school or at your college that you don't know, that you just found out or just met them. And plus, I'm giving you places that are open. This is for your own supposed safety. Go choosing places where nothing will happen, but you still won't do that. And because you didn't have a car, I'm choosing the library because that's the closest place in which I saw you walk past. So obviously that's in range. Then she says, I'm going to have to pass. I appreciate it, honestly. So at this point, she's passing on wanting to either meet up and talk to me, or she's saying she's passing on if she's interested. At this point, I have to assume what that means. So if it's passing because she's not interested, then by all means, it was pointless to then give me your fucking Instagram if you weren't interested and begin with. Don't feel threatened that you have to give somebody something. Just politely just say, hey, I'm not interested, but thank you, I appreciate it, and leave it like that. A lot of black females, a lot of y'all like to complain or do some bullshit, disrespectful thing to somebody who's trying to shoot their shot, who has to open themselves up, vulnerable, open themselves up to then shoot their shot at you. But a lot of you females like to have that little ego. That's why nowadays, why a lot of y'all not getting people approaching and complaining